Joe Biden was giving an interview yesterday on Good Morning America when he just straight up forgot the question that the interviewer was asking him. And it also seems like he forgot the events that he's being asked about, and then he just lies to cover all of that up. It's a little in a gray area about whether he's lying, whether or not he's forgetting, so please tell me in the comments what you guys think. But to give some context behind what he's asking him, George Stephanopoulos, in 2017, I believe it was, or maybe it was 2016, the FBI came to Barack Obama and Joe Biden to tell them that they were going to begin an investigation into Trump's national security advisor, which is a fairly big deal and seems like something, a person in that meeting would remember. So take a look at this interview clip and then let's discuss.
I do want to ask you about Michael Flynn, the former national security advisor to President Trump, and the move by the Justice Department last week to dismiss the case against him for lying to the FBI. The president said yesterday that that move is justified because President Obama targeted Flynn. He called it, quote, the biggest political crime in U.S. history. Your former Senate colleague Charles Grassley has added that Flynn was entrapped and asked on the Senate floor, what did Obama and Biden know? When did they know it? So what did you know about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn, and was there anything improper done?
I know nothing about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn, number one. Number two, this is all about diversion. This is a game this guy plays all the time. The country is in crisis. We're in an economic crisis, a health crisis. We're in real trouble. He should stop trying to always divert attention from the real concerns of the American people. The American people are worried with good reason. He has acted irresponsibly from the very beginning. He continues to act irresponsibly. He hasn't done his job. This is all about diverting attention from the horrible way in which he has acted with what he did. We don't have coronavirus because of him, but we have the devastating impact of it because of his lack of a policy, his lack of action. It's all about diversion.
I do want to press that. You say you didn't know anything about it, but you were reported to be at a January 5th, 2017 meeting where you and the president were briefed on the FBI's plan to question Michael Flynn over those conversations he had with the Russian ambassador Kislyak.
Now, I thought you asked me whether or not I had anything to do with him being prosecuted.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was aware that they asked for an investigation, but that's all I know about it, and I don't think anything else.
And just like that, the story changes. It's really astounding to me. So George Stephanopoulos asks him if he knew about the moves to investigate Michael Flynn. And Joe Biden verbatim, says, I knew nothing about the moves to investigate him. What? How are you then able to go and say, oh, I thought you were asking about the prosecution? How does that happen? So either he forgot the question immediately after George Stephanopoulos asked the question, or he forgot about the meeting even existing, and once George Stephanopoulos reminded him that meeting existed, he had to cover up his forgetfulness and saying, oh, I thought you were asking about this thing. It's really bizarre. It's such a bizarre thing, especially being that a meeting where the FBI comes to you and tells you that they're going to investigate the national security advisor of the Republican nominee, you'd think that's something that you would remember. So I'm leaning more towards thinking that this is just Joe Biden and his obvious cognitive decline. I think that he forgot the meeting happened and he tried to cover that up by saying that he thought he was asking a different question. It's just Joe Biden's forgetfulness. That's what I think. Or he's just lying about the whole thing. He's lying that, about the fact that he wasn't a part of the investigation. And as soon as George Stephanopoulos brought receipts, he had to switch things up. Either way, I think this just highlights that Joe Biden is an old, forgetful, deceitful person. This is Joe Biden. This is your candidate. Politicians will lie at the drop of a dime. It doesn't matter. It's second nature to them. And I also just want to point out that he somehow weasels COVID into this conversation and says the president's trying to distract with the whole illness that's going on. Meanwhile, Joe Biden himself is using the president's failures to tackle this pandemic as a distraction from the very question that he's being asked of him. Talk about diversion tactics. So, Joe Biden, he doesn't have it in him anymore. Just look at videos of him 10 years ago. Compare them to him now. It's clear that there's something different about him. And the Democratic establishment just doesn't want to acknowledge this. Hilarious and sad at the same time. Leave a comment regarding your thoughts here. I'm curious whether you think he's lying, if he's forgetting, or if it's both. It's very possible that it's both. And subscribe to join the political revolution against mainstream media. CNN, MSNBC, ABC, they're bought and paid for. Independent progressive media is the path forward. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.